Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have become divisive figures in the U.S. after Prince Harry attacked the nation's constitution during a cataclysmic speech earlier this week, a royal expert has claimed. Richard Palmer, royal correspondent for the Daily Express and co-host of the Royal Roundup, said Americans were left wondering why a British prince was discussing what was going on in the U.S. after his keynote speech at the UN General Assembly in New York on Monday. Prince Harry's speech, held in honor of Nelson Mandela International Day, was heavily criticized for being doom-laden, with the pandemic, climate change, and the war in Ukraine among the topics covered by the Duke of Sussex. Mr. Palmer told co-host Pandora Forsyth, "He got people's backs up again, didn't he? He has become quite a divisive figure in the US as much probably as in the UK, he and Meghan. It seems to be more on political lines over there where Republicans tend to be less keen on him. He had a bit of a pop at the Supreme Court decision on abortion rights and that did not seem to go down well with people on the right of politics in the US. People were wondering why a British prince, albeit one that no longer represents anybody, was discussing what was going on in the US. And then, well, it was just quite a cataclysmic speech. It was just doom-laden, really." While looking scruffy, as social media users put it, Prince Harry told a small audience in New York on Monday that the world is witnessing a global assault on democracy and freedom. In a thinly veiled attack on the U.S. Supreme Court, which ruled last month that it would no longer be a women's constitutional entitlement to have an abortion, the Duke lamented the rolling back of rights. He said, "The few are weaponizing lies and disinformation at the expense of the many. And from the horrific war in Ukraine to the rolling back of constitutional rights here in the United States, we are witnessing a global assault on democracy and freedom, the cause of Mandela's life." On the topic of climate change, an issue over which Mr. Palmer suggested, for better or worse, the Sussexes have made as many enemies as friends, Prince Harry implored world leaders to stop the situation growing worse. He said, "As we sit here today, our world is on fire, again. And these historic weather events are no longer historic. More and more, they are part of our daily lives, and this crisis will only grow worse, unless our leaders lead. These decisions may invite resistance from powerful interests. But the right thing to do is not up for debate. And neither is the science." His comments drew heavy criticism from American commentators, with the Spectator Washington editor describing the prince as arrogant and lacking in self-awareness. All eyes were on Prince Harry earlier this week as he delivered a speech at the UN to mark Nelson Mandela Day. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex arrived hand-in-hand at the New York UN headquarters, where Harry spoke passionately about the late activist's legacy. But before taking to the stage, the dad of two, who stepped down as a senior working royal in January 2020, looked visibly nervous as he sat in the audience with his wife and United Nations members. After he momentarily let go of Meghan's hand, the former Suits actress was filmed placing Harry's arm into her lap in a show of support, the U.S. Sun reports. Speaking exclusively to the U.S. Sun, body language expert Judy James said Prince Harry was exhibiting signs of high-level nervousness and tension. A much calmer and more poised Meghan went into firm parental mode, using a correctional gesture to ensure reassurance after Harry appeared to dismiss or shrug off her handclasp, she said. Pointing out the 4 signs of Harry's inner anxiety, Ms. James highlighted how the Duke kept touching his wedding ring. "His constant fiddling with his wedding ring is a self-comfort ritual like a child might suck its thumb or carry a comfort blanket," the expert said. Harry used a whole raft of these self-comfort rituals arriving at the venue and walking on stage, including a truncated buttoning of his jacket, a smoothing of his tie and the placing of a hand across his tummy. He also touches his watch or wristband, which is direct mimicry of his father's signature self-comfort gesture. Secondly, the expert said the Duke had hollow, expressionless eyes during the public appearance. "This is a look Harry had on the build-up to leaving the UK, she added. "It is not a look his fans will want to see now he is happily settled in the US, but it could be down to priming himself for his speech." What's more, Ms. James said the Duke's unsmiling expression was another key indicator. Harry only smiles here as a social commitment when someone talks to him or when he is congratulated after his speech, she said. Fourthly, the body language expert pointed out a very telling microgesture. At one point Harry shimmies slightly in his seat, which looks like a gesture to attempt to reboot his inner confidence, she said.